All right, uploading this video. This is for specifically Silverstone iRacing. It's coming off of 2020 Season 2, Week 7, and I wanted to just pull together. I ran a few races here last week. Let me start with that. And I did well in some, not so well in others, mainly because I was just trying too hard. But I did have a couple of decent races, and I did manage to do a 58.783 as my best time last week. So these are lessons learned for me. Anyone finds them useful, that's great. And I'm gonna go through lap 15 and just create notes regarding the track, turning points, break points, and also going to show the setup. I do have to give kudos to findingspeed.com. Russell Barnes creates great videos with track guides, and you can download his setups as well. So findingspeed.com, great resource. I'll just walk you through my setup. You're welcome to replicate it. Let's start with that. So we'll go to lap 15. Actually, now that this is a replay, I may not be able to do a setup, so I'll have to do a separate video on that. But we'll jump to lap 15 and take a look at that lap. Okay, so lap 15 should be somewhere around here. 14, and so lap 15 is about to start. So let's take a look. So I'm pretty happy with the lines. I don't always follow these, so it is a lot more difficult to be consistent and run the very same line lap after lap. So that's really the big reason why I chose to create these lessons learned, because I want to be able to go back to these next season, or if I'm doing a different series, and just get myself refreshed on what has led me to do my best lap here. So we have about 5 more turns before the end of this lap. And then we'll go into the cockpit view, stay in the cockpit view rather, and slow things down in the turns. Okay, so that's lap 15, 158.783. So let me go here into slow motion, and I'm gonna keep the banners on so you can actually see the input here for the steering input, brakes, and gas. So here I brake right around right where the service road is, and I'm in probably, let's see, it doesn't really show the gears, but generally here I'm in 5th gear, and then I'll downshift into 4th gear and try to treat it as a little bit of a, maybe like a mid apex. There's a lot of space on the left hand side once you exit. So let's see the brake. Get on the brakes here. Stay on the brakes, downshift. And here, as you know that you're going to make the turn, you can get back on gas fully. You can keep the gas here. You can be 100% on the gas. It's going to carry you a little bit wide off to the right side, and that's okay. If you keep it really tight here and get on um, the, uh, the concrete there, you can actually stay fairly tight. So brake here, go back, brake right past the 100 yard sign. Brake heavily down to third, down to second, and then I downshift down to first. Here, get on the gas. Actually, I stayed. Take this back. The gear indicator is right here. Just missed it. Actually stayed in second gear. If I come in here a little hot, I will downshift into second. But I'm sorry, downshift into first. But staying in second gear allows you to get on the gas as you are exiting this corner. First tends to spin the tires a little bit. So I stayed in the second here, very tight trail brake on the gas. You want to come from the right hand side. You don't have to be all the way on the right hand side, and even being here closer to the middle is fine as well. You really just want to avoid being carried all the way onto the left and approaching this next apex from the left hand side. It's going to force you to have a really slow exit, and you're going to lose a lot of speed and time going into the next set of corners. So second gear, and then continue to brake, downshift into first. It's going to help tighten the line. You want to avoid taking the curb. I took a little bit, that was fine. And then you can get back on the gas fully here first, into second. Keep that steering input in. Don't straighten the steering input. It's gonna, otherwise you're gonna have to dial in a lot more of it through the corner here and lift. So keep that steering input constant. You can take a lot of the curb here. Avoid getting onto the grass. Otherwise you'll get an off track. And here you are on the gas fully. You can get the right wheel all the way onto the green tarmac. Again, avoid getting on the grass because you are gonna spin out. I could have gone a little bit farther. Now here I brake just past 100. So brake just past 100, 6 down to 4, 5th down to 4th, down to 3rd, and then I delayed, I'm easing off the brake a little bit, and then you can get into 2nd here. Again, it's going to help negotiate this corner. You want to stay tight. You can take a lot of the curb, and you want to stay left. Avoid going all the way to the right, because then you're going to lose a lot of speed going into the stern. What you want to do here, you want to stay no more than 2/3 to the right of the track, and you want to carry speed in that initial turn in. And stay in a 2nd gear and then down a 1st gear as you're slowing down. And it's you can treat this as a double apex, or just hug the whole thing very tightly. So stay here. I'm still on the gas. Off the gas now, but you're trail braking. And your speed, you're scrubbing some speed, scrub about 10 miles an hour, maybe a little bit more. Downshift into first. It's gonna help you stay tight. And then you can start getting on the gas. I'm not quite on the gas fully yet. As soon as I know I can make it right around here, full gas, and you can take a generous amount of the curbing, and the green tarmac here is not slippery, so you can get on it very aggressively, full gas. Here, come all the way to the end. Right turn, this is full gas, 3rd gear, 4th gear. Here you can take a lot of, you can go 4 wheels beyond the white line. It is not an off track. I'm not sure why it's marked that way, but it probably saves you a couple of thousandths of a second if you go tight there. I find this to be a pretty tricky corner. I think it's really I treat it as more of a late apex. I brake past the 100, right around here, down to 5th, down to 4th. You want to start your turn, and you're trail braking pretty not heavily, but you are trail braking in here. You want to you want to hit these the sausages that are here. They're not very high, not very tall, so they're not going to disrupt um, your suspension. But you want to stay tight, and then as soon as you get past them, you can get on the gas. I think I'm losing a little bit of speed here. What I've noticed that the way I'm really looking at carrying speed here is I'm looking for a certain frequency RPM in the fourth gear, and what I've been playing with as I go into this corner, drop it down to fifth, drop it down to fourth, and I've slowly increased the speed in this corner to try and figure out where the RPMs are in the fourth gear that allow me to negotiate the corner successfully without getting an off track during the exit. So coming here, you can see I'm gonna really, it's just maintenance throttle at this point. And here, soon enough, I probably could have started a bit sooner, but I'm full throttle at this point. And I do have more space. I could have carried a little bit more speed through here. You are not gonna get an off track as long as your right wheel stays to the right of the white line. So I could have carried a little bit more speed through here. And then over here, you want to get onto the right side. You don't have to go all the way to the right, but stay tight. This next set of corners are probably the most technical corners here. There are a couple of different ways to go through it, but pretty much what you're doing, you go in fifth gear down to fourth, down to third, and sometimes down to second as you're making the last right-hander. So here, the key is you want to be very close to the sausage here, because you want to get set up for the right-hander here, and you want to stay. You don't have to go super deep, but you want to treat all of these as late apexes. So I'm in fifth, and then I'm gonna I should be downshifting to fourth. That's what I found to be most useful. What you can do is right around here, you can downshift to fourth and stay very tight, late apex, to stay on the right side, so to prepare for another late apex, the left-hander that's coming up after this. So, but in this case, I was just braking enough to slow down enough so that I can take the apex late and then actually get back on the gas. You can continue to accelerate here, pick up a little bit of speed, not really a whole lot. Now downshift to fourth. Again, treat it as a late apex, a little bit of a brake, a little bit of a trail brake. You want to come in here from the right. You can take a generous amount, go over these curbs. You can get back on the gas here and accelerate again a little bit more, not too much. You don't want to end up on the right side here. You want to stay maybe a third way across the track, and then downshift to third. And then again, brake, trail brake. It is key that you find how fast you can go through here. I think I'm probably still losing at least 3 or 4 tenths in this set of corners. I could probably be going a little bit faster through here. But again, here, this is a late apex. We got a little bit of a maintenance throttle. Could have stayed a little bit tighter, but here you can start accelerating. There's a lot of space here on the left-hand side on the exit. So I'm not quite full throttle yet, but just it's more a maintenance throttle. I am accelerating as soon as you see the speed slowly increasing, and as soon as you know that you can make it, you can get on back on the throttle fully, which is right around here. You can put your left wheel onto the green tarmac here. That's not an issue. And then I just stay here and exit. Actually, get on the grass here on the left-hand side as I exit. It's not an issue. You don't get an off track here. Take as much space on the right-hand side as you need. Slowly start making your way across to the left-hand side here. And then here you're preparing for the right-hander. Another somewhat tricky right-hander. It's a brake right around 100, right before, okay. 6 down to fifth, down to fourth. Trail braking, scrubbing off speed down to third. You can go down to second, but you have such a such a large amount of steering input dialed in that if you are in second, you're probably really starting to spin the rear tires, which tends to overheat them, not really gaining a lot of time. And it is a 45-minute race, so you're going to feel it if you really kill your tires early on. So anyway, I usually I will stay in third over here if I'm running a little wide. Might downshift to second to tighten up this right-hander a little bit. And then here you can come out all the way to the left. You can put a wheel on the green tarmac, but again, you want to keep your right wheel to the right of the white line. Otherwise, you're going to get an off track. Here you can kind of follow it. You don't have to. Sometimes I would take it straight onto like the 80-yard line mark and then brake. But generally, I found it a little bit better to just be in a straight line for your braking, plus it reduces the amount of steering input for the left-hander. So go back here, brake, usually brake before 100, right here, about 120 is a deceptively, it looks long, but you have to slow down so much that you really have to. You want to brake a little early and get a little bit more speed if you've overbroke, rather than brake late, because you're gonna really mess up your exit here. So second gear, down to first gear, and I probably could have been braking a little bit more heavily. I've trailed off the brake quite a bit. Want to keep this tight. A lot of people will come through here in second gear. I like the first gear; it helps tighten it. You can accelerate fully here because you're gonna straighten up your steering. First to second, you can start accelerating, and then you just get off the gas here completely. Don't really need to hit the brakes. Maybe just a tiny bit. To get a little bit more traction on the front, and just want to be careful with the exit here because you have a lot of steering input and it is easy to spin out over here if you do. So you can go fully here. I dropped off a little bit off the gas. You're going to shift into third. I cannot take this exit full throttle, so I will full throttle here, but as I am making this turn, I will lift a little bit. You don't have, there's no reason to lift completely, but here I'm lifting a little bit up into fourth, lifting quite a bit. I probably lifted too much, frankly, and then you can get back on the gas, start picking up some speed. Here you can take a generous amount of the green tarmac. Yeah, you want to keep the right wheel to the right of the white line, and then you just here our start finish line, carry as much speed, obviously accelerate fully. So let's run this lap again. I'm gonna do a chase view. Let me move this around so we can see how we have done. And I'm gonna go up a little bit higher so we can have a better point of view. So I'm gonna run it fully, and wherever I'm getting close to the track limits, slow things down and back things up, but I'll run it at full speed. All right, so let's run it again, and we'll run it. I just changed the camera angle so we have visibility of the right-hand side, front right and rear right, so we can see how we're hitting the lines. So. Want to make sure you avoid that dirt on the right-hand side there, because if you go into it, you are going to spin out, or you're going to lose a lot of time getting off the throttle, staying off the throttle. Could have been a bit tighter there. You can actually get on the curbing there on the right-hand side. It helps a little bit, gives it a bit more space. Yeah, got it. And then let's do the same on from the left-hand side. Took a little bit of the sausage there, unsettled the car a tiny bit, but not a huge deal. But you can take a lot here. So he's staying off the grass. And you can take a generous amount of the curbing here. There you go. Just again, you want to stay off the grass. Can be fully across the white line here, not an issue. Stay on the curbing. Here I could have gone a little bit wider. This is key, you want to be right next to the sausage here. Could have been even a little bit closer there. That was a little wide. And that's it. Hope you found it useful. If you did like the video, give me a like, please. Send or leave a comment if you have any questions or would like to see anything else from Silverstone or any of the other tracks.